Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Dan, and I'm excited to have you join us today to explore the powerful capabilities of Advanced Installer. So in today's session, we'll cover an exe installer that we'll have to discover. Basically, this will be a vendor package, and we don't know much about it. So we'll have to go through the installation. We'll repackage that exe into an MSI. That might be your organization standards. We will fix the MSI to match the exe functionality. We'll test the MSI, and after that, we'll generate the Intune file using a new tool from Advanced Installer, which I'm excited to share with you. And we'll upload the package into Microsoft Intune. So we have an exciting session ahead. So let's get started. For this, I will share my screen. So we have the exe package as mentioned before, and the first step we'll have to discover its functionality. And for this, I'm gonna use the Windows sandbox. I want to see what this exe is all about, if it requires any runtime. So it's better for you to use a clean environment for testing. And for this, I will use Windows sandbox as it provides a light environment, which I can use for testing. Okay, here is the exe package. We'll go with the default installation. We're not gonna make any changes so far. Okay, the installation is pretty straightforward. We don't have much to configure. Okay, we have the option to start the application. The installation was made with full UI just so we can quickly see if there is any error that might be displayed. Okay, let's check the control panel because we want to see if there was any additional runtime that might be installed behind the scene by the package. So there isn't. We only have the exe in our control panel, and the application, it's a system tray app that runs. I don't know much about it, but I see it right here. Okay. Seems to be straightforward, the installation. In this case, we are ready to proceed with the testing. So to repackage the installation into an MSI. And for this, I'm gonna start Advanced Installer. For those that are not very familiar with the Advanced Installer, you need to go under the Convert section and say Repackage Installation. This basically will allow us to select an exe package, in our case the exe package that we want to repackage, and convert the installation. And for the repackaging session, as we've done the installation also into a virtual machine, into a clean environment, Advanced Installer offers the possibility to start a repackaging session in a Windows sandbox. We have dedicated integration. You can use a virtual machine for the repackaging, and it can be either a VMware or Hyper-V, both local or remote virtual machine. So it's up to you how you want to run the repackaging. Basically, all major options are available. For today's session, we'll use Windows Sandbox. Before going with the repackaging session, just want you to bring into your attention the configuration manager, which basically is used by the repackager during the repackaging session. So the repackager is using this configuration profile basically to detect what files to be scanned during the repackaging, what registries to exclude and process. We don't go much into details. You can explore this by yourself, but just wanted to bring into your attention because I will show you a trick with the Advanced Installer, how you can update the configuration profile on the fly when we say that this will be the case. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna start in Windows Sandbox. We are asked to save our repackager profile project. Okay, so right now Advanced Installer spin up the Windows Sandbox for us. During the repackaging session, it will require the installation of Advanced Installer tools. Hopefully you seen that that message. And in order to establish the communication with the virtual machine. During the repackaging session, the initial step is to scan the initial state of the machine, which is happening right now. Once the initial scan is over, the repackager will launch the installation of the exe installer. As you can see, everything is going very, very fast. So the repackager, it's very fast when it comes to scanning virtual machines, and the performance is outstanding when it comes to the Windows sandbox. It provides a light environment which can be seen right away because of the speed. Okay, so the installation is over. Right now, the repackager will scan the virtual machine for the second state, basically the post-install installation. And as you can see right now, the repackager is waiting for our manual confirmation that the repackaging session is over. This is very useful when you need to make post-install customization. So let's say you need to overwrite some files, create some registries, maybe sign up into the application and make some preferences so that they can be captured by the repackager. You need to have this option enabled in the configuration manager, prompt and wait after installing the package, so that those changes will be captured by the repackager and included in the resulted package. In our case, we don't have any customization, and we're just gonna move forward with the repackaging session. Okay. So right now the repackager is scanning the Windows sandbox for the second time, and basically the delta states between the initial state and the state after the package installation will be considered the changes made by the original package. Okay, that's it. So we have the project, the repackaging session, and here we have an overview of the files registries that were captured. Okay, from the package information, we've seen that the repackager was not able to correctly detect the version, but this is not a problem. We can fix this. Okay, we see it's 391. So in our case, I will go with version 4.0 because we want to have very clear between versions, the one that is being created with the advanced installer and the one that is created with the original exe package. Okay, the digital signature view, which basically allows us to digitally sign the resulted MSI package, or if we create an MSIX package. We don't go into details right now. We have an overview of the files and folders that were captured, and a best practice is to expand and take a look of the captured files, because there might be some noise that could be captured, and that depends a lot on the application that you are using, the environment that you are using for repackaging. Because when using your local machine, there might be other application that might be running services and so on, so there might be other noise that could be captured, but when using virtual machine, the noise can be easily filtered. Same with the registries. We can expand. I'm not gonna go through the cleanup right now. This is not the purpose of our webinar. We just gonna go and see how the package that is created with Advanced Installer behaves. Okay, and we see the system changes. So Advanced Installer does not only capture files and registry changes, we also capture high-level construct, and we can see changes, and we can see shortcuts, schedule task, of course, if those are being created by the package. They will be listed right here. Okay, everything looks good so far. So let's build the MSI. Okay, and I'm gonna close the Windows sandbox because I want to test again the installation into a clean environment. Let's see how it goes. Right now, Advanced Installer will build the MSI. If you take a look, okay, the MSI is being built right now. So in the toolbar, we have the option to generate multiple packages, so within the same project. So in case you want to explore if the current package can be converted to an MSIX package, and you just want to explore the MSIX, if that's your default in your organization, but of course not every package is suitable for MSIX conversion, and you don't know much about the package, as with in our case, then you can explore and also generate the MSIX within the same project. So there is no need for you to go again to the repackaging session. Simply enable the MSIX generation, and the package will be generated, and you can test it. For MSIX, the signing gets mandatory. If for the MSI, the signing gets optional. In this case, the signing for the MSIX is mandatory. Okay, it seems that the build it's almost ready, because we want to test the MSI, and more than that, we need to match the functionality of the exe package into the MSI. So there might be some changes that we would need to make. Okay, we have the MSI. It's right here. Let me copy the MSI into the virtual machine. And let's see how the installation goes. Basically, this is the first step that I'm also following in every packaging session that I have. This is like a project discovery. Okay, so we see that the installation keeps the install location. For the moment, we will go with the UI installation to see if there are any errors and so. Okay, so the installation is over. First of all, I don't see the application running in the system tray. And I will go in the installation folder. It's right here. Okay, here it is. So let me see where the application is located, the exe of the application, because we want to launch the application and see if the application is running properly in the system tray. Okay, I have a hard time finding it. It's right here. Okay, I see my application running. So we will fix this, launching the application at the end of the installation. This is the first thing that we need to fix it. Okay, that's not a problem. So let's test the uninstall. Okay, let's see how the control panel entry is. Okay, so first of all, we see there are two entries located in the control panel, and one is the version 4.0 and one is version 3.9. So where these entries in the control panel comes from? So first of all, the first entry with version 4.0 is the one that was created by our MSI. Remember, we've intentionally used version 4.0 just to be easier for us to see the MSI. And we still have this entry, which seems to be, which doesn't seem to be created by the package, since we've installed the MSI. But remember, in the registries, if we take a look, we will see that okay, I have a hunch where the second entry comes from in the control panel, and there it is. This is the culprit basically for the second entry. During the repackaging session, basically the exe created the entry in the control panel so that it can be listed. And those registries were also captured by the repackager. And in this case, we simply need to remove these registries from the repackager so that they will not be included in the resulted MSI package, and basically the second entry in the control panel will not be created. So in this case, we simply need to disable this registry entry. remember that at the beginning, we've explored together the repackager profile, and I mentioned how it can be customized on the fly and how that repackager profile is being actually used by the repackager for the virtual machine scanning and so. And in this case, we can customize the profile to add key to exclusion filter. So what that means, in the registry here, by default, Advanced Installer will include the current user and local machine, and will exclude the below registry entries where we consider that no installer should make any changes. And in this case, because we want to exclude the registries created by the original package, we simply say add key to exclusion filter, and automatically the registries related to the uninstall entry will be ignored. I think I've only added this GUID, but I will add the parent, so the whole uninstall string. That means for any new repackaging session that I will have, the registries in the uninstall registry here will be ignored by the repackager, so that they will not be included, and the resulted MSI package create 2 entries in the control panel. Okay, let's uninstall the MSI and see how it goes. Okay, so we see right here that the MSI, it's presented with a message saying that the application is running, which is correct in the end because we have our application running in the system tray. So when the application that is scheduled for uninstall, basically during the uninstall phase, the Windows installer checks to see if the files that are scheduled to be removed are in use. And in case the application is running or some files are in use, it will present with this dialog. In our case, we can see that the application is running in the system tree. So all we have to do is to make sure that the application is not running when we trigger the uninstall. Okay, in this case, we'll say we will inform the MSI to close the application so that the uninstall can continue. Okay, so I've uninstalled the MSI, but both entries were removed from the control panel. Why? Because the registry for the second application, because they were created by the MSI, during the uninstall, they were removed. Also, the entry from the control panel was removed. We will no longer have this problem because for the resulted MSI, we've decided that this registry entry should not be included anymore. But how about the uninstall? We've seen that the MSI does not really match the exe installation. During the uninstall, we have that file in use dialog. And in this case, we need to open the current project, which is basically the repackager project, and it offers us a light overview of the possibilities, available option to customize the installation. Basically, for the files and folders, we are simply allowed to choose to include or exclude, but we can go in Advanced Installer, and when this happens, we will have full access to the application resources. And in this case, I can go and choose what files actually to remove from the package. I can choose to add new files. Same with the registries. I can delete the registries. I can choose to add new registries and so on. Just wanted to share that we no longer have the registries to the uninstall section, because when importing the package, we've decided to exclude these registries. Okay. So we've taken care of the second entry. Now we need to fix the problem where the application might be running. And for this, I will use a custom action. Basically, Advanced Installer comes with a predefined set of custom actions. And one of these custom actions is called terminate process. And I will use the terminate process so that I can close the process of the application. Okay, so in this case, I will have the stop process custom action added on both wizard dialog stage and install execution stage. And for this, I've used the sharing mechanism. Basically, while keeping the Shift key pressed, I drag and drop the custom action in the wizard dialog stage. It was previously added only in the install execution stage. And from here, I can choose the custom action to skip execution in install execution stage if it was executed on the wizard dialog stage, so that the custom action will not be executed twice. Okay, now I need to add the process that I need to terminate. Okay, the process name of the custom action, it's actually the exe name. If we take a look in the files and folders, okay, the application, it's we have its name right here. Okay, so this is the application, and the process name will have its name. Okay, great. So this is the process that we need to terminate during the uninstall. Okay, let's build the current MSI. Okay, let's save the project. I will close the Windows sandbox, because I always want to test the installation into a clean environment. So we fixed two issues. So it will be the problem when the uninstall is triggered and the application might be running. And also the issue related with the duplicated entries in the control panel. Okay, I still have to launch the application at the end of the installation. Just remember, as I haven't done that yet. So this I will go with a custom action also. So during the installation, basically the Windows installer execute a lot of standard action, and between this standard action, I can choose to execute my custom action. And for the custom action execution, I can integrate one from the predefined list that Advanced Installer comes with, or I can add my own custom action. And for the custom action, it can be a PowerShell script that will be executed. It can be a C++ custom action, .NET. So we have full support for this. Okay, I want to fix the launch file to match the exe installation, and because I intend to deploy the application silently, that means there will be no dialog to allow the user to choose to launch the application, and I want to launch the application at the end of the installation. I will execute the custom action each time during the installation. Okay, and to launch the application, I will use the launch file custom action, and I will have my custom action to be launched during the installation. Okay, let's build this MSI, and let's test it. Now for testing, let me close this. Okay, for testing, I can again copy the MSI in the Windows sandbox, or more than that, I can say in Advanced Installer run in Windows sandbox. Of course, I can also choose to run in a virtual machine. So basically, it will be similar as we choose the repackaging session. I will choose to run the current package that we've created in the Windows sandbox. What is happening right now? The Advanced Installer spin up the Windows sandbox for me. It installed the Advanced Installer tools in the Windows sandbox so that the local machine can communicate with the virtual environment. And as you can see here, I've enabled logging. So that means I will see in my Advanced Installer IDE the logging that is being created by my MSI in the virtual machine. So this is a great tool for testing and troubleshooting the installation. So it's very easy to spin up the installation in the virtual machine and also have the log on your local host. And remember, it can be in a virtual machine, it can be a remote virtual machine, Hyper-V, VMware. It's up to you how what's your environment for testing. We offer full support for that. Okay, the installation is going well so far. Okay, almost over. Because we're creating this log during the installation, it's a little bit slower as it would be without the log or just simply having the MSI in the Windows sandbox, but it's of great help mostly at the beginning when error may occur, or maybe it's a more complex installation which may need debugging and so on. Okay. I think I know where the problem is. Okay, so I have the launch file custom action. It's very good actually that we have encountered this issue. So as you can see, the installer is waiting for the custom action to finish before proceeding. But that means I would need to interact with the custom action. I would either need to close it because it launched my exe file, as currently the custom action is waiting for my exe to finish, but it resides in the system tray. So if I will close it, most likely, okay, the installation could be done. And if I'm checking the control panel, okay, now I need the control panel. Here it is. Okay, I have my application installed. I don't want to wait for the custom action. I simply want to launch the file because in an automated environment, I simply want the application to be running in the system tray. Okay, we need to start the application because we want to test the uninstall. Remember, we've added the stop process custom action to prevent that dialog from being displayed when the application might be running. Okay, so let's launch the application because we want to test the uninstall. Okay, it's right here. Okay, I can see my application running in the system tray. Perfect. Now let's test the installation. Okay, the uninstall. We see the first problem taken care. We only have one entry in the control panel, so we no longer have two entries. Perfect. Let's go with the uninstall. Perfect. So far we fixed almost all the issues. So we've almost replicated the functionality of the exe into the MSI. So almost we have one-to-one. We just need one single issue to fix. Remember, the control panel created with MSI did not have the entry in the control panel, so you can simply go in the product details view and pick the icon that will be displayed in the control panel. In my case, I've selected the icon extracted automatically from the installer. Perfect. So what we've done so far, we were able to replicate the functionality of the exe into an MSI file. Now, you may be wondering how we can uninstall previous versions of the exe while we installing the MSI. So the MSI will only be able to upgrade packages that are created with Advanced Installer, MSI packages. But what happens if on the environment that we deploy the MSI, there are previous versions of the vendor package? And how we will be able to upgrade those versions. So we want to include that functionality also into the MSI that we've created. And for this, I will close the Windows sandbox. We've seen how we can use Advanced Installer to test the resulted package directly into the Windows sandbox. And we need to understand better what is happening when we install the exe package into the virtual machine. We've seen that some registries are being created, and those registries basically give us information about the package and how we can trigger the uninstall. In the uninstall section in the registries, basically we have we see that the package is not Windows installer based, and this is important for us because we will take advantage of this in our MSI. So we basically have here an uninstall string, which it's executed when the package is being uninstalled. The same way we can use this to trigger the exe installation from our MSI. And to trigger the MSI installation, what we need to do? Basically, we will have to create a custom action. And in this custom action, we need to detect for any existing versions and to detect if there is any previous version installed. Remember that in Advanced Installer, you can choose from the existing custom actions, and a custom action that I will use it to detect if there is any previous version installed is the PowerShell inline script, which basically I can add, and through a PowerShell script, I can choose to search during the MSI installation for any installed version. Okay, I will have to add my custom action higher. Okay, and search existing version. Okay, and the code to search for any existing version, I already have it prepared, so we won't spend too much time creating the script. It's not the purpose of our demo, so I will remove this custom action, and we will just go through this custom action. Actually, since we've already installed the application in the virtual machine, we will test PowerShell. We will test the code in the virtual machine so that we can make sure that it's working properly. So before adding the code in the Advanced Installer, you need to make sure that it's working properly into the virtual machine. Okay, and I have it right here. And if I'm executing the custom action, the code, okay, and I'm only interested about the uninstalled string. Okay, it's not installed. Let me check the control panel. Oh, okay. So the exe is not installed. This is why the uninstalled string was not returning any value. Yeah. So in order to work, it needs to have the exe installed. So while the exe it's running in the background, okay, what we have basically, we're going to the uninstall registries, and we're matching any application that have the display name of our application, and we will get the uninstall string that will further invoke in our MSI to trigger the installation. Seems that I also getting the version, maybe some debugging that I was doing, but is not necessary. So right now, if we choose to see the uninstall string, which is from the registries, we can see exactly that we need to call our exe because our custom actions is a dynamic custom action and we are not using fixed paths. Basically, whatever the installed path, the uninstalled string will be saved in the registry, it will be returned. That means we fully cover the cases when the application might be installed in a different environment, in a different location, or anything like that, or if there are different versions, because we don't take into consideration version. We search basically dynamically for any installed version which match our application. Okay, so we've tested the custom action. The PowerShell script is working properly. That means it should work also in our project. Okay, I will close it. And let's return back. So we have the application installed. Perfect. Let's return back to our Advanced Installer project. So we've tested the script. Now we have the custom action, which basically will set the uninstall path, which we can further reference to trigger the uninstall of the old version. Now, for this, I want to execute the custom action. Okay, I want to execute the custom action during the install phase, and more than that, I only want to execute during the first time installation. What that means, it means that when my MSI is being installed for the first time, it will check for any installed version. If my MSI is during an upgrade, that means I already had the previous MSI created with Advanced Installer that has the functionality to detect and trigger the uninstall for any version that could be encountered. Perfect. So to trigger the uninstall, we will use the launch file custom action. So yeah, maybe launch file. It's this one, and we should properly give it a more proper name. Remove old version. Okay. We want to execute the custom action on a first time install, so not on an upgrade. And for this, what we need to do, we need to call command prompt.exe, and we simply need to pass our custom action. Okay, and I think that the uninstall string also have the silent. Yeah, I should even search for the quiet uninstall string. That's not a problem. I can simply pass the silent switch to it. Okay. So right now I have my custom action configured to trigger the uninstall in case a previous version is found. To always execute the custom action that triggers the uninstall of the old version and condition its execution only when a previous version is found, I will take advantage of the condition field. So basically the condition field is evaluated during the installation and is being used by the installer to detect if the custom action should be executed or not. And in our case, we want to execute the custom action only when this property is set. Basically, when a previous version is found and it's set with the uninstall string. In case the uninstall string is empty, that means the custom action, basically the condition is evaluated false. That means our uninstall will not be triggered. Now, our custom action will require admin privileges for the uninstall, and for this I need to say to the custom action to be executed on deferred and also enable run under the local system account with full privileges. So enabling these two options, basically I will provide privilege access for my custom action to be able to trigger the uninstall of the custom action. Okay. Because I'm launching the command prompt, and passing the uninstall string to it, I can say hide programs window, so there will be no flickering display during the installation and so on. Okay, everything being said, we can now build the package, and we should be able to test the MSI. Okay. Let's open the output folder and copy the MSI into the virtual machine so that we can test the upgrade. We already have the vendor package installed, and now we are ready to test the MSI installation. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, we have the MSI right here. We should be able to... okay. Yes. So what we've misconfigured is the custom action to trigger the uninstall. Of course, because our custom action handles the uninstall phase, it should be executed before the remove resources. So I'm not sure how we went with the test, because the test was compromised. I want to have the perfect conditions for testing the upgrade. That means I will have to initiate and start all over again. I will copy again the exe in the virtual machine. Okay, let's build the MSI. Let's install the exe, the vendor exe in the virtual machine. Maybe we should also change the install path. Okay, that's not a problem. We can change that. Okay, while the exe is being installed, let's copy the MSI in the virtual environment. Let's see how it goes. Almost ready. Yeah, so what we did last time, we made a little mistake, which may happen, and this is important for you to use virtual environment for testing, because there might be problems that may occur during the testing. So it's always advised. Okay, if I will control panel, it's right here. It was no time. So we can see right here we have a single entry which is version 4.0, which basically it's the MSI that we've created. Remember, our MSI has version 4.0, while the vendor package is on version 3.0. So so far we've correctly replicated the functionality of the exe into the MSI. We've seen that our application is running. We can test again the uninstall phase. We've also improved our MSI so that in case any previous version is installed on the target machine, it will be upgraded, it will be removed. And that also seems to be working just fine. And if I'm only testing the MSI, in this case, I will not have the upgrade part. It will work just fine, because remember, my custom action that triggers the uninstall will only be executed if this string it's being set. So if we go back to the custom action, we see that even there is no custom action, there is no previous vendor package installed on the machine, my custom action that handles the remove is not replaced, is not failing, because its execution is conditioned through the old version uninstall path property, which is only set if the uninstall string exists on the target machine. Of course, the uninstall string does not exist on the target machine, so my custom action that triggers the uninstall of the vendor package basically is not set. The property is empty. The condition is evaluated to false, and that results in the custom action not being executed, which is correct. Otherwise, this will fail, and we would have to review our project settings. Great. Because nowadays you also generate not just the MSI for the Intune deployment, and you go with the Intune win file. For generating the Intune win file, I will use a new tool from Advanced Installer. I will use Packet. Not sure how many of you have played with it. Let me close this and have only the Packet on the main display. So basically, Packet, it's a tool that can assist. It's a free tool from Advanced Installer that can assist with creating Intune win files, troubleshooting MSIX, running MSIX container, and so. And for this, it's very easy to use. This is how the package looks like when the application is launched. You can create a workspace or open workspace. Basically, the workspace, it's something that can be later referenced. It contains the list of the application that you've converted, generated over time. So it's the workspace can also be shared, and it's collaborative. You can share with your team, having on a shared location, and so. It does not require any SQL configuration or something like that. Everything it's configured by the installer. Okay, we'll have to select the application to add our package. In this case, we will have our MSI, which is right here. Okay, let's select the MSI. Basically, the name, vendor, testing, MSI. Package. Yeah, whatever it will be the description. Icon, of course, if you want to load the icon from the supported files. Okay, right here we have the MSI file. We see the path where the MSI is being referenced. It's our MSI, it's version 4.0, and we have the install command line. So in case you want to further customize the installation, then you can pass here the command line so that it can be generated into the Intune file. And here we see that we have the option to generate the Intune file. And let's generate the Intune file. And we will see that the Intune file will be added next to our application. So we have the first level, it's the application, then it is the MSI, and here it's our Intune file. It's right here, our Intune that we've generated. And we can directly upload the Intune win file on the Intune server. So the packet only package the application into an Intune win file, which you can further customize in its EDA, and after that it will upload the application on the Intune. You will still manage the deployment from the Intune from the Intune server, but it's nice to have the application ready for deployment. We've seen that how easily it is for testing the package from the Advanced Installer and spin up the virtual machine. Something similar can be seen here, where we have the application ready for deployment into the Intune server. Okay, if going further, it will go with the credentials. So that's something which you can later explore on your in your organization. So that will be the live session of our webinar. Let's go back to the questions. I see that there are a lot of questions. So let's go through each one of them and see. Okay, so I have this question. This function are available in all versions of Advanced Installer. thank you for your question, your anonymous attendee. So yeah. Uh, Dirty Packager, basically the features that we've seen so far, which I've presented during the webinar, during our session, are available in the Architect edition of Advanced Installer Dirty Packager. The packet tool, it's free right now, so you can give it a try right now and see how it goes. There is no need for you to have even the Advanced Installer installed, so it's not bounded with Advanced Installer. It's a different tool, so you can use it for any package, not just for the packages that are created with Advanced Installer. Okay, how to install the Windows Sandbox. So the Windows Sandbox, it comes as a Windows feature. It comes with the Windows, which you can simply activate from the control panel as any feature that you may have on your machine. You don't have to use Windows Sandbox. You can use VMware Hyper-V. Hyper-V the same, it's free. It comes with the Windows as a feature. You can download the images. Yeah, for the Windows, for the Hyper-V, you will have to configure the machine to have the installation. But with the Windows Sandbox, there is no need for configuration. You simply launch it. It's a light environment. You need to take that into consideration because it does not have the full functionality that the full operating system has. So it has some limitations, and you may not know when you have less information about the vendor package. So if you know the package, if you know that it's not a complex installation, then you can simply go with Windows Sandbox. But for complex installer that might have any MSIX package that might be installed, and so the Windows Sandbox is not suitable. It does not have all the functionality of an operating system. We have another question from an anonymous attendee. Okay, if this the alternative to the Intune preparation tool from Microsoft, can you run through it again? Okay, so yeah, authentication failed, of course. So the upload to Intune, it's a tool that we've developed in-house, so which we can use it to upload the package into the Intune server. In our case, it will deploy the Intune Win file that we've just created, but if having the advanced installer, you can upload the packages that you might be creating directly from the advanced installer. The Intune deploy, it's also available in advanced installer, and you can use it to deploy the MSI, the MSIX, AppV package. So whatever your package will be, you can use it to deploy on the Intune server. Right now, it will start with the credentials, and the wizard simply assists you for the deployment on the Intune server. It will deploy the package on the Intune server, which you can further deploy it in your organization. The Intune deploy wizard does not handle the deployment. It simply upload the package on the Intune, which you can further handled by yourself. Okay, we have another question for the advanced installer. Thank you. The question is, can you use advanced installer to export application currently published in configuration manager and import to Intune? So I think this will be a very good feature for the packet. We don't have yet support for this, but we plan to add in further versions. So stay tuned, because packet is it's version 0.1, if I can say that. There is a lot of work to do, but we plan to invest and see where it goes. Of course, we need to see that the application is being used, and that you actually the functionality that will be further be added will be based on your request. So we will add your request on our to-do list and make sure it will be addressed in further versions. Okay, we have another question. How did you create the Intune Win file? Okay, so I have right here the packet. Maybe we can go again through the Intune Win file generation. So this is the packet which allows you to generate Intune Win file. You will basically provide an MSI file, and after that you will generate the Intune Win file. So let's add again our application. Okay, let's copy it in a source Intune and referenced from this location. Okay, so we have another application that we've added. It's the same MSI. It's the same MSI, but it has a different source. So we have the application added. New trial for Intune deployment. Okay, let's go with a quick description. This is the MSI that we've added, and here we have three options. We have the option to upload the current package, the MSI, through the SCCM. We have the option to upload the package to the Intune, so the MSI file, and we also have the option to generate the Intune Win file. And when using this option, as you can see right now, I have a single entry. When using this option, we have this message, which is letting us know that the Intune Win file will be created next to the MSI that we've selected, and we see its path right here. This is why I wanted to create a new source file. We are good to go. And if going to the source file, to the source folder, it's right here, we can see the Intune Win file being generated. So we've added the application, we've created the application in our workspace. We've selected the MSI file. We haven't customized the install command line, but you can do it right here. And then generated the Intune file. When that happened, basically we have our Intune Win file generated next to the MSI file. And for the Intune Win file, I have the option to upload to the Intune. Hope that answered your question, and the workflow it's clear now. Okay, we already have questions from Scott regarding how he can have the recording for the today's session. Scott, I'm pleased to inform you that the webinar is being recorded, and it will be available in the next few days. Yeah, it will be available on our YouTube channel, and you will have an email with the link to the webinar in the next few days. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for all your questions. I have another one from Marco. Is it possible to use these tools in Advanced Installer to repackage an existing exe installer in a way that can be deployed? So basically, all the packages that are being created with Advanced Installer support silent switches, support silent installation, so they can be deployed in the Intune. In our testing for today, we only cover UI installation and testing, but of course, we can easily test the installation in a silent environment, in running under the local system account. I can ensure that all the packages that are created with Advanced Installer can be deployed. So you can use the Advanced Installer to repackage the installation of an exe and create an MSI, and further that an Intune Win file, which can be used for deployment on the Intune. Okay, the packet. Another question from an anonymous attendee: if the packet option comes as a standalone utility. Yes, so it's a standalone. So if you go on the tools section, there are different tools which are available, or you can go with other tools, and basically you should see here the available tools that Advanced Installer offers, and which you can use it. So other tools, and the first one is the packet, which you can download and use it. It's a standalone installer. It is not bundled, or does not depend with Advanced Installer. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, one last question from Marco. Sure. Does Packet have a headless option to be used in a Okay, continuous integration system. I don't think we have considered this so far, but I think it's a legit request from you, and I will discuss with the team if they have anything on our on their to-do list. If they plan this functionality in any further versions, and in case they don't have it yet on the to-do list, we can add it for sure because I like your request. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your suggestion, Marco. It is indeed a very good suggestion. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for your attention. Hope we had a great webinar together. We learned a little bit from each one of us, and the recording session, the webinar, will be available on our YouTube channel. And for those that sign up for the webinar, they will get a notification with the recording session. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.